Welcome along to our Champions League coverage semi-final night. Manchester City are through to the final. They will play Inter Milan on June the 10th. We will be there, all of us.
Be
live.
there or be square.
That's what they say. I've very much enjoyed my first experience of the Etihad. My first time here, so much flair and grandiosity that we've...
Grandiosity.
Is this your first time?
Spell it.
Grandiosity.
Boom.
Oh!
Want to know what it means?
Go on.
Take a look, everybody. I can pull this up for you.
Seriously.
The quality of being impressive and imposing in appearance or style, especially pretentiously so.
Are you talking about me?
I think she's talking about herself.
No, I'm not talking about myself. Okay, we're going to bring you the reaction of another player. Thibaut Courtois, the Real Madrid keeper, is with Peter Schmeichel. Take a listen.
How was this today? How does that feel?
No, it's disappointing, definitely. I think, we started really bad the first half. Obviously, we knew that City, especially at home, the first 45 minutes and maybe the first 20, they start always furious. Last season, they scored 2 goals in 8 minutes, so we knew what we were waiting. But yeah, I think we were managing. There was a couple of saves. They missed a few. But then our attack, we couldn't keep the ball in the team, and obviously that was helping them. And yeah, then I think in the wrong moment that 1-0 comes, then maybe you hope to keep it like this till half-time, and then unlucky action with a ball that is touched by Militao goes to Bernardo, and it's with that luck that today was not on our side, and maybe last year was. The second half, obviously, they took a bit gas down. I think there we could have created a bit more, but I think today we were not as sharp, as good on the ball as other times, and yeah, in the end, again, an unlucky goal on the free kick, and the last, yeah, I think at that moment we just have to keep fighting. Even you're down 3-0, we cannot run with the ball and think we're going to run all through City. You know, we have to pass the ball, keep the ball, and it's 3-0 and go home. But now you concede another goal, and it's a bit painful like this to go out in with 4-0. You know, it could have been less, could have been more, but yeah, it's a disappointing result and a disappointed image of the team, I think.
Thierry handles the moment very well.
Like he tried to do in his goal. He's one of the, I would say, only players that could come and speak to Peter at the end of the day. So, you know, it's a sad one because you don't like to lose like that, especially if you're European champion and if you're Real Madrid. But Thibaut tried everything tonight to stop it, but he just couldn't.
How is he as a character, Thierry?
Thibaut is really calm. He's really calm. He's, as you can see, in goal. I like goalkeepers. We always have that discussion where he makes a save and he's not going in your face like you made a mistake. You're supposed to try to stop it when everyone makes a mistake. That's your role. And we all know it's not easy. He is very calm. For me, I've been saying for a very long time that he's the best goalkeeper in the world. And I know people like 2 years ago, a year ago, our goalkeepers thought differently. Now they like to jump on the bandwagon.
Which one?
All of them. Oh. Yes, I said it.
Should we listen into your boss, Micah? Let's take a listen to Pep Guardiola, who's also been speaking after the game.
Started exactly as you wanted. You gave the crowd plenty to get behind.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they showed the commitment in our intensity, that we adjust something, and the players were outstanding.
If I had to pick one, Bernardo, obviously. So he set the tone. He was pressing. The 2 goals, of course, helped.
The player never, in this type of... Bernardo's always there. Always, I said, he's one of the best players I've ever seen in my life.
Considering the quality and class of the opponent, is that one of the best performances by Manchester?
Yeah, definitely. I said many times, so guys, we don't have to come back 1-3-0 down. So we just win one game, be ourselves. Madrid is, oh my God, well, what a team, but we wanted to. We beat them 2 seasons ago. Last season, what happened. Because the game was quite similar last season, like this season. So, but unfortunately, we didn't have the lucky enough to win it, and then after But today for the Mino one, we had all of us the feeling these days that the people were ready. So it was calm mentally. It was so they make a lot of jokes these days. So I didn't feel tension on. Anxious in any faces, in any behavior, and I had the feeling that today we were ready to do it.
Thierry?
No, it is a funny game because he's right. Man City won top of Real Madrid last year. And we all thought that obviously they brought Allen to make sure that they could beat a team like that. And he didn't score. Home and away. That's how good City are. And I know he will appear in the final. I'm just saying, I'm making a point of they brought him in. He didn't score against Madrid home and away. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
Because he did his other part, you basically alluded to before.
Yeah, no. I was just making a point of how good of a team it is. Like, it doesn't matter who puts the ball in the back of the net. Last year, they just couldn't. They were on top of them. They didn't defend well also. Let's put that there. The pressure today was magnificent, and we talk about that. But he didn't score today. They're still going through.
Can I ask a question? I know you kind of dismissed what I said about is it the kind of the passing of an era with Real Madrid. Just in terms of Carlo Ancelotti and his future,
I didn't dismiss it. It's Real Madrid. They will survive.
Sneered your lip at me, so
they
I
will
thought
survive.
that you
It's Real Madrid.
dismiss
It doesn't matter who plays for that team. The shirt survives. Big teams survive. The shirt stays there. You know, you leave, shirt stays there. The crest stays there. They survive.
Okay, so the question I was going to ask you now was about Carlo Ancelotti and his future, because obviously there's been a huge amount of talk. Brazil have made it very clear we want him.
Oh, that's
right?
a different question then.
They've struggled in the league. It is a different question.
okay,
You're right,
thank you,
Terry. I'm
thank
not
you.
arguing you on that. So, struggle in the league, right? Disappointing result in the league season domestically. Go out standard is a very good result, right? What about Carlo Ancelotti's future at Real Madrid? Do you expect to see him in the manager's chair next season, or do you think there might be a change?
I think he will go to Brazil. I
Do
think
you?
the players have been vocal. Real Madrid is really weird in a way because I remember Del Bosque winning the Champions League, then he left. You know, Real Madrid don't wait for nobody. That's how it is. I had Carlo as a coach. I love Carlo Ancelotti. I just think that it looks like he might be going to Brazil with the way the players are talking, the way he was. You know, hopefully he can stay there because I think he's very comfortable there. But yeah, I can see that happening. Okay,
interesting. All right, we've still got more to come for.
Patrice,
What's up? You gate crashing?
Yeah. I'm coming, guys, but I need to get paid. It's not like
How much you want?
I don't
Do you want
know.
Thierry's money or our money?
No, Thierry take all the money. I already know. Don't worry, guys. I can see the way you smile and you are not smiling.
Oh, yeah?
Micah, what's wrong with you?
Peter got German perfect.
Sorry, they can't afford you. No, I can't afford you.
Guys, I'm free. Don't worry, guys. It's free.
Is this an audition?
Exactly.
Is it Christmas?
How the ex-Man
Why are you
United
dressed in
lads?
a red
Because
suit?
I'm a United.
Can we mic him? Jamie, give him.
And by the way, it's one game left, so
Okay.
don't celebrate yet. You didn't win yet, so calm down, relax.
Tranquilo.
Tranquilo, like they say the Italian, tranquillo. It's one game left.
Did you have a little bit of trouble on the side of the pitch before with a man? What was that?
Yes. No,
What
I agree
happened?
with you. No, because he was looking at me. He was like, "This is for you. This is for you." So I came close. I said, well, "Why are you shouting? Why you are so agitated?" He said, "No, because last year I say that on TV. I said they shit themselves. That's why they lose against
No,
Madrid."
Patrice.
And I said this year they didn't shit themselves, and that's why they. That's the truth, Micah. But you know, I'm an honest man. I'm straight. And after he apologized and he said,
Separated.
everything was
Listen,
okay.
two things. The audition isn't going so well because we don't cuss on the show.
But it's
Apologies,
not,
America.
Pooing is not. He's not cursing.
Okay, never mind. We'll move on for that. Second thing.
I tell you, you shouldn't invite me.
Patrice, we're a smart outfit. You can't walk up in here with your shirt all hanging out. You gotta tuck it in. You've got to be put together, man.
Okay. So, okay, Kate, I think you were like really nice, really pretty, so you kill me like that. You don't like my shirt?
No, I like the
Lennon,
shirt, but I
Lennon.
think it should just be,
You know, I live in Dubai, it's really hot, so I need Lennon. Not like Micah, like he looked like a Christmas tree. Look at that. Look at that. He's so happy. Man, I'm raging inside. But you deserve, well deserved. Where's my money?
Jamie Carragher
Jamie.
says 90% on for Manchester City now to do the treble, which would mean beating Manchester United in the FA Cup final. We got to United
How's that gone from 75 to 90?
after
Just
tonight's
because they won
performance.
games.
After tonight's
Just because
performance.
they won that. Hey, he said even
Exactly.
before the game, he said they were going to win. So how has that improved their chances?
What was the hardest thing?
Are you okay?
I'm all right. Don't get there.
Wait,
You're going to
Jamie,
get my money. So, they're on for the treble.
I'm free,
What was
guys.
the
I'm
hardest
free.
thing? To win the Premier League, the FA Cup, or to beat Real Madrid in the Champions League? That was the toughest assignment, surely, tonight, rather than Manchester United
Yeah.
in a cup final or Arsenal in the
You got
Premier
to
League.
stand by what
surely.
you say.
Yeah.
So you said before the game, they're going to win. They're going to go through.
Yes.
Don't
And
fight,
their
guys.
chances were 75%. And now you say it's 90.
75% of the treble.
Yeah, now you say it's 90.
Because they got past Real Madrid.
Well, you said they were going to get past them.
Well, I thought they'd win the game, but now they've done it.
But
Surely the chances go higher, don't they?
Let me just change subject. When you see Ferdinand, did you say, hello, my favorite clown? Did you say it?
You said it, didn't you?
But of course.
I mean, was I right to saying that? Is he a clown? You know him a lot better than me.
We got the pictures
we
here.
got it. We got it.
Don't you worry about that.
Oh, look at the smile. Look at the smile,
Oh, Jamie, you look awkward.
It's a little bit awkward. Shall I check?
That's real. That's my boy. Come on, Rio. I know he checked the hands. He checked the hands. Yeah, he was a fake uncheck, by the way. Yeah, you could
So
see.
you know him better than me. Is he a clown or not?
Now, security.
I am a clown. We all a clown. But I think this was quite aggressive. No, okay, they're best friend.
This is what I had to do.
We're
I'm security. I had to sort
Can we
it
have a
out.
handshake, please?
But by the way, guys, I'm not working for
Handshake.
you, so why I'm here?
Look at this. Look at this. Made up. Lovely.
Lies, you know. Titi, you keep talking. You don't say nothing. Like, hello.
How can I keep talking if I don't say nothing?
That's it. That's the way. This man, you know, I always think he's my brother, but he just terminated my career on TV. So
I think that you
Was
did that
it
yourself.
Thierry who invited you? I know you came on and you said you'd been invited. So who was it that invited you?
Jamie.
I'll be
Oh, it was
honest, it
Jamie.
was this guy.
Was
I was
Jamie.
behind, and he said like, "Come and." Yeah,
What
I couldn't
game do you
resist.
love?
What?
I love this game. I'm out.
Patrice, thank you.
Oh, wow.
Send me the money, huh? Send me my bank account. Micah, you as well. Send me my money.
Ciao.
Peter Schmeichel came bearing gifts of candy, Starburst to be
Jekyll's the
precise,
one with the
actually. So the
madness.
boys are just doing the tactics for the Champions League final.
Stop
Istanbul,
going there,
June
more be a
10th.
four, going there,
We
like
cannot
this,
wait.
like
It's
so.
going to be a fantastic final.
De Bruyne.
There are
Tell
other
you what-
sweets on the market. Just
What are the formations? Wait, we've got a back five. I know that.
Yeah, we're going with a back five. This is Internazionale in the final. How they're going to win it. Compact, deep, counter-attack. Lukaku off the bench, I can see it.
Yeah.
Deco, role to play against his former team,
Yeah, he'll
Manchester
just do
City.
that first hour, then Lukaku, the pace in behind, make those runs, split run. Come on, Thierry, help me out, come on. What do you think?
I don't know which one to take on it.
You said a back five.
Back five.
Yeah, it will be properly back five.
Well,
Everybody
okay.
there.
As interesting as this tactics talk is, question, I guess, obviously, listen, we're looking forward to the final in Istanbul, but we've also got the Champions League to look forward to next season. And we've got the fight for the top four in the Premier League, which is going to decide who of the English teams are going to be involved in that. We've got representative Manchester United, a representative Liverpool. Let's hear your thoughts on whether or not it will be your team.
And Arsenal.
Arsenal are in it.
No, it's all right.
Peter, did Manchester United make it?
I would say up until the weekend, I was a bit worried. That win was on a Sunday was a good win, and with that game in hand, we've got Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, Chelsea at home. I think they're all three. Man United should be winning them.
So yes, you're saying?
Yes, I think Liverpool might get in there if they can get past Brighton, but I think it would be instead of Newcastle.
Yeah, I think a lot of it. There's a game tomorrow. Brighton are going to Newcastle tomorrow. Brighton have still got an outside chance. I think it'll be difficult for them, but if they could get points from Newcastle tomorrow, I think Liverpool have got a 50-50 chance. I think if Newcastle win their game tomorrow against Brighton, I think it's certainly Newcastle's to lose then.
It could be a fun season next season if we have all these teams available.
Could be.
Is there enough space for us all?
Of course there's space for us all.
Do you think you'll still be employed after tonight?
I think all of us have had a shaky week. You're probably in the clear. I think you're all right. You maybe too.
Shaky.
What? Just me and you?
Me
Because
you.
I brought the guests in.
Yeah, you're definitely responsible
I'm
for
just
the
wondering-
trees.
If I'm not allowed, then I'm going to Fox. I don't know where you're going.
Oh, not me. I love
So-
CBS.
Wow.
I love
I'm here if you
CBS.
want
last
me.
week, didn't I? So.
CBS forever. Welcome back to the Etihad again. We want to start bringing you some more reaction from Manchester City players to their win tonight over Real Madrid. So here's Ruben Diaz with Peter Schmeichel.
Book, you said there's a long, long way to go for the Premier League, for the Champions League, but now you're one game away in either tournament to win. How does that feel?
Feels like it's not done yet. Definitely very close now on the three competitions, but got still three finals to play. Obviously very happy for the moment special tonight. The way we did it, especially the way we did it, the way we were able to keep our ground and to show our personality and our way of playing. And obviously against who. But very aware that even though the moment feels very special and there's a lot of happiness right now, we still have 3 finals to go.
But do you realistically think that you can lose a game? Is there a team out there that can actually beat you?
Well, the mindset is that we can't. But then in reality, everything can happen. And we're aware of that. Not just our own knowledge, but also the experience we've had the recent years. We know that everything can happen, and I think that's the biggest help we can have. The fact that we know nothing's done yet, and we know we will have to go there and we will chase it like it was the first game of the season.
So when you're looking at your games, and especially tonight, it looks like that there is no pressure. It's just a game for you. You're having so much fun the way you play. Is it like that, or do you actually feel the pressure?
Obviously, we feel the pressure. If we didn't feel the pressure, I think we wouldn't play this good. In the end, the right amount of pressure, I think it's what makes you run better and run more when you have to, the reaction when you lose the ball. And all of those details, I think the right amount of pressure is definitely something that helps.
I'm convinced that you are going to win the Premier League. That is absolutely sure. And I'm also convinced you're going to beat Inter. But to win the treble, you got to beat Man United. I'm not sure you can do that.
Well, I guess no one knows, but be sure that we'll make our best.
Yeah. Well, good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Apart from one game.
Thank you, Peter. You wanted to react to what Ruben Dias said?
No, it's obviously you're nervous or you're scared or you think about it. It's normal. Like the structure, like I said to you, will be what keeps you cool because they know what they have to do. And at the end of the day, like I always say, you know what you fear will master you. Always. Because you don't want to reach this type of thing. You don't want to reach fear. So you master that. But the structure always will keep you going a certain direction. Doesn't matter who plays or who scores. You win 4-0 and Alan didn't score. So I love the way also he speaks. Ruben Dias always says what you need to say and not going overboard like someone on the left here said. They still need something. They still need to win it. But you know the mindset is nobody can beat us. I love that.
What a week this could be for Manchester City, Micah.
What a week, honestly. These last 2 days have been magnificent. The company of you, going to the San Siro, coming here to the Etihad. I couldn't wish for anything more. So thank you, guys.
To go on the road?
No. You know what's getting on my last nerve, to be honest.
Welcome back. Good evening from the Etihad. What a game we saw here today between Manchester City and Real Madrid. Let's run you through some of the action, the best of the action that we saw tonight. Starting with the first goal. Thierry.
Yeah, the first goal. I mean, it was only coming. The goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois, made brilliant saves before that. But once again, we talked about it. The vision of Kevin De Bruyne. Stay in your position. He will see you. And then, you know what? It's not an easy one for Thibaut Courtois because it looks like he's going to open up to finish. But he closed it. And maybe Alaba could have blocked it, so Thibaut Courtois could have stayed maybe where he is. But, you know, you can't say about anything about Thibaut Courtois today. That was a great finish from Bernardo Silva because if he wasn't there, it would have been way more.
Bernardo Silva with the second as well, Micah.
Momentum was building. It was building. It was at this moment thinking, can City sustain that pressure? We're thinking about Madrid and what they can do. And it's just intricate play from Man City, who have been excellent tonight. And it's just right place, right time, making that run into the box. And you'll see on the angle here, you've just got to make sure you just get a delicate touch on it. You can't try direct it, use the pace of the ball, and 2-0. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, half-time, get to half-time, regroup, and go again in the second half. And that's exactly what they did.
The third goal came in the second half, and shortly before that goal, you were watching the bench, is that right?
Yes, I was actually watching the bench. Well, actually, Jamie, Thierry, you picked it out, didn't you? The set piece.
Go on. It's okay.
No, you picked it out. You might as well do it. Go on. I don't want to take your credit.
Humility.
You're a set piece guy. Come on.
It's all right. It's just Pep went to talk to the set piece coach, and then went and run to say something to Kevin De Bruyne. What now? What did he say? We don't know. But it looked like after he celebrated with the bench, because he actually said something. We don't know what he said, but I spotted that.
Interesting. Okay, let's take a look at the goal.
Well, Kevin put the ball literally on the head of Akanji. And you know what? It's kind of nice that they give it to the guy that scores, but
it's going on target, isn't it? So that's why.
It's a non-goal for me. But well done, Akanji. They gave it to you.
Yes, sir. 4th goal of the night.
We'll give that to Jamie. Go on. You spotted it.
Well, this sums up Manchester City's strength and why they are so good at the moment. The 2 players involved come off the bench, Foden and Alvarez. Foden, one of the best players in English football. Alvarez, a World Cup winner. The centre-forward for Argentina in that World Cup. Real Madrid losing in a poor area. The game's gone. Obviously, we see the scoreline, we see the time. Alvarez has only been on a minute. But fantastic pass, weight of pass. And Alvarez, we've seen that a lot this season. He can finish, he can play, we know. But it just shows the strength of this Manchester City team. When you've got players of that quality who can't get in the starting 11, you know that's why they're the most difficult team to beat right now in Europe.
If it is possible, at the beginning of the goal, and to go back to your point, you're 3-0 up. Game is done. Alvarez comes on. He chases the player of Real Madrid to get the ball back. That's the spirit of a team that can win everything. This is why I don't know how Pep always manages to get people on their toes and working hard. But you come on, usually you might float around. They don't float around. They come in to mean business. And he delivered, get the ball back. Amazing pass from Foden and he scores.
I mean, we talked about the fact that Erling Haaland didn't actually manage to get the goal tonight, but he did have a few opportunities that are worth looking at as well.
Yeah, he did. Courtois was fantastic. It actually could have been 5-0 in that first half. But you just see here, lovely little dink towards the post. You just think, can he guide it? We're talking about the centimetres, the millimetres, the inches. But it's a great reaction save from Courtois. You've got to give him his credit. But not one. But this is the excellent one. Here, you just see the fingertips where he just gets his body across, his weight's going one way, and he has to use his fingertips. We're talking about, I think he's the best goalkeeper in world football. He showed it last season, and again, unfortunate to be on the losing side, but he played his part. And then, crossbar, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, he was unlucky. It was great football. It was brilliant again from Gundogan, the back heel. I mean, his form of late's been outstanding, but it's on his right foot. We know he's more powerful on his left, but maybe he's saving them for Istanbul.
Exactly.
We talked in the pre-game about how great that battle was in the first leg between Vinicius Jr. and Kyle Walker. Talk me through how you saw that play out tonight.
Kyle Walker's a beast. Whenever you have to run with him, you might as well stop. And he was.
That's what I felt like with you.
No, but seriously, I mean, at one point he was way behind Vinicius Jr. right in front of us here, and he just caught him. I think with this side or the other side. Sorry, he just caught him, put his arm on him, took the ball, and looked at him and said bye, and he just went the other way. When it comes to that, he's too good. He put. I have to say, he put him back in his pocket in the quarterfinal of the World Cup. He put a lot of players that are actually outstanding in his pocket. It's not easy to beat him, and you have to give him a lot of credit. And I know people, like, if you think about, was it two months ago, or was it maybe a month ago when Pep was like, oh well, I don't think he can do this, I don't think he can do that. And whenever he had to play against powerful winger that were quick, he put him back in the team pretty quick.
Well, we've actually got some clips of that because we talked about how he was going to play against Vinicius, and Vinicius actually does really well. We talk about distances,
that's the one.
And it's just his touch there. And we talk about recovery pace. It's absolutely outstanding, and that's what he's got. Kyle Walker, again, fantastic tonight. He just seems getting the distances right. He's going to come inside, but what does he do? He gets to tackle. That's what I was talking about. Let him have that space, get in front of you. You can always use the slide tackle. And yeah, today he was absolutely brilliant.
You got Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United here, but we're all happy for you, Micah. We've all enjoyed this.
Are you sure you're happy?
Yes, we are happy for you right now. We've got some pictures of you celebrating the evening. Do you want to see some pictures of you celebrating with your friends?
Look at this. Look at who we've got here. Rodri. He comes straight to Big Meeks. Not one, but two. We got Grealish. Oh, look at that. Fantastic behaviour. But it doesn't end there. We've got more. Look at Foden coming in for a little poach. There you go. He's getting some loving from Big Meeks. And okay, we're going to do the dance. These are my boys. I want it so much from them. They deserve it. To be so good with this team, they just deserve that Champions League now.
The two best right-backs in Manchester City's history?
England.
I tell you, the opening odds for Manchester City to win the Champions League, 5.5 to 1. Crazy heavy favourites.
Wow.
I'm not talking about odds. I'm not talking about favourites. I'm going to be humble.
What are you talking about then?
I'm just talking about this wonderful night. We talked about the Etihad. Could it play a part?
Subdued before the game,
wasn't it? It was a bit. There was nervous energy flowing through the stadium. As soon as I got the first goal, the crowd lifted.
We were obviously in Milan last night to watch Inter beat AC Milan and book their place in Istanbul. Having seen that Inter performance and having seen tonight's Manchester City performance, how much of a chance do you give Inter in the final?
It's a final. I've seen this team. No disrespect, and it was the greatest final I've seen in Istanbul. Actually, they had no right to win that. Nobody thought they could win it before and at halftime.
Even after it.
and they won it. But look, I'm more thinking about the tactical side of it. City's gonna have to play a back five, which is now the run of the number 10 with the 5 and the 3. Don't be a bit quicker to arrive on your wingers are in wide, because they will already be there. They will be there. So now you're 10. However, how are you going to create the overload? How are you going to open that back 5? It's easier in bracket to kill a back 4 with how City plays. But Pep might come with something. Just I want to see that. I want to see that battle, the 5-3-2, because it will be a 5-3-2 in the final, because City will have the ball. You'll be down low.
I think what Thierry just mentioned there, we've seen Real Madrid come here and they're at a level where they'll feel they don't have to change whoever they come up against. Arsenal came here and said, you know, we're top of the Premier League. We're not really going to change how we play. Over the last few years, Liverpool have been the same. We don't need to change for City. And Liverpool have had a little bit of success in terms of winning trophies and winning games against Manchester City. But Inter Milan are levels below Man City. So I don't think they can go and say, we're just going to play our game. I think they have to play a game of, we're going to try and nullify City. We're going to try and annoy them. We're going to try and bring them down a level. We're trying to maybe get into the heads, maybe use the dark arts as we talk, you know, maybe wasting time, diving, cards. I'm not advocating that, but I'm just thinking that's the only way I can see Inter Milan winning the game. I don't think they can just win by playing their game and just think it doesn't matter who we play, because a lot of football now, the way the game's evolved, is that there's this feeling that more often than not, you play your game. You don't worry about the opposition too much. You have a set way of playing, home and away. And that started, I feel, with Pep Guardiola. When he was at Barcelona, it was like, we've got our principles, and no matter where we play like that. And I think everybody took that on. I don't necessarily agree with that all the time, because not everyone can be Pep Guardiola or have his players. But I feel for Inter Milan, they've got to try and find a way to almost bring City down rather than trying to raise to their level, because I don't think they can.
Is this a Manchester City side that could be rattled if Inter do go that route and be physical?
I mean, it's a one-off game, isn't it? Anyone can be rattled. All it takes is a red card or a bad decision. And we've seen it with Chelsea a couple of seasons ago in the final. City were heavy favourites. Thierry made a good point. I think it was yesterday. Chelsea played really well against Man City that season. So, you know, it's going to be tough with Inter Milan. But I just think with the quality that Manchester City have, they will get over the line.
For Manchester City this season. Look, let's just talk about that first half, though. It was one of the most remarkable first 45 minutes of football that I think any of us have seen.
Yeah, as good as it gets.
Yeah.
I can't really remember. Liverpool in recent years have blown teams away in the first half. I can think of a few good performances, great performances. But rarely, I'm trying to think of something as dominant as that. That was ruthless, and you've got to take into consideration the opposition, the stage of the competition as well, the pressure that was on them, everything. That was just unbelievable. I mean, it took our breath away watching it.
Yeah, I think you can look at performances like that and recognise there has been them in regards to Liverpool, but the tie was potentially over. It was like 4-0, so you expected it. But when the tie was so close and so in the balance, you don't expect a team to just dominate the way that Man City did tonight.
And I think it's the manner in which they've done it. It wasn't like we've just like kind of come out and run over you. It was tactically, they dominated, even being clinical. And they had their foot on their throat, and it was like they were just stamping on their throat, just keeping it there and positioning them where they wanted them around the pitch. And then, bang, goals, clinical at the right time. They were mesmeric at times, but they took your breath away today. And we were sitting there in that studio going, how do you beat these guys?
Yeah.
How could you get away from being penned back and just drain the life out of you? I played against a Pep Guardiola side, which arguably I think is the best club side ever, in Barcelona when they had Messi and they won a Champions League and they beat us. This team, they've got to win. They've got to win this title, and maybe a couple of times. But they're en route, I think, to be classed alongside teams like that if they continue in this vein of form. 3 back-to-back Premier Leagues, a potential treble in the waiting, and then when do they stop?
And it's no coincidence, I don't think, that the two teams that you're talking about there are managed by Pep Guardiola. I mean, yes, people can talk about great players. I've played in a team with a collection of the greatest players. It doesn't necessarily mean success. This man is an absolute genius. I mean, tactically, he is off the scale.
Remarkable. Should we have a look at the goals?
Let's do it, Jake.
Right. Bernardo Silva. What a footballer.
And he touched on, after the game, how he was disappointed in his individual performance, but...
Was he? Is that what he said?
He touched on how he let his teammates down, credentials back up, and listen, when the ball fell to him, such composure. With both finishes here, we touched on the defending, and all night it was just individual defending and trying to win the ball back as an individual and not setting up a teammate and making play predictable. All of a sudden, Kevin De Bruyne finds space, and then obviously great pass and a great finish.
He's just a total footballer, isn't he? I mean, recognising where the space is, his timing of runs. I mean, he's slight. He's not that quick in a, you know, when someone going up against him, he wouldn't be running away from players. But his brain, his awareness, his balance, everything about him. That was, I know we say Manchester City were brilliant in the first half. That's as good an individual performance as I've seen in the first half. Obviously, he took the game away from them single-handedly.
I think Grealish as well has to take some credit, because a lot of people questioned him in his first season. He's become one of their mainstays, one of their most important go-to players in these big games, and he might not score the goals that people are asking for, but it's the amount of players he draws to him that creates space elsewhere on the pitch. And he's a phenomenally talented, educated footballer. He came here as an individual. He's become a team player, defensive, both sides of the game as well.
Physical presence, so reliable defensively, and we've seen tonight he got 3 Real Madrid players booked, but his composure when he gets into the box, his decision making is excellent, and so all round a top performance by Jack as well.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, when he first came to this Manchester City team, I wondered whether he could fit into it. You know, he was used to picking the ball up in his own half, running 60 yards, getting brought down for a free kick, players getting their bodies in the teams get body in the box, crosses, you know, free kicks. And I thought, that's not Manchester City. They don't really want to win free kicks. They want to play quick, you know. They get the ball down and play quick. And I just thought he's going to have to sharpen up, take less touches when he comes to this club. And boy, has he adapted. I mean, fair play to him. A real football brain. He's still got those attributes that were great, but he's adapted to this style of play as well.
But that's also where the credit goes to Pep Guardiola and his coaching staff for having the patience, for seeing him play a certain way at Aston Villa, knowing he can play a certain way at Manchester City, having that long-term vision. It's a team effort to turn a player into the sort of player.
And that's meticulous recruitment as well, because he's seen something. He's thinking this is going to be different to what I've had before, and he's bringing something else. And we see Raheem Sterling was a player playing before him. He was a very different player, but he's seen something in Jack. He's thought this could bring something, another dimension to this team. And it's definitely retaining the ball, holding the ball, and bringing players to him, which is going to release other players to spaces. Gundogan, for instance, flies into them pockets that he leaves where players dragged out towards Jack, and Gundogan, whether it's him, whether it's Rodri sometimes that comes up there, whether it's Kevin De Bruyne, it's not just about him, it's what he does when he gets the ball that it triggers other people. And I think and you look at the depth of this squad, by the way. Mahrez can't get in his team.
Yeah, Phil Foden
can't get in his team. Alvarez, a World Cup winner, comes on and scores. Like, their depth is just like, wow.
Yeah, remarkable. Jack Grealish, just transferable skills. Obviously, they recognised what he was doing at Aston Villa and thought, well, if we can get into them situations more often than not for Man City, in the greatest respect to Aston Villa, you're going to be playing with better players and have more options. So credit to all parties all round.
Shall we have a look at 3-0? It goes down as an own goal. I mean, Manchester City deserved 4 or 5, I guess, hey? In fact, I've just been told Akanji's now been credited with the goal.
And so he should. The ball's going on target. He certainly touches it. You know, it's in a really dangerous position, isn't it? Kevin De Bruyne he probably couldn't place the ball in a better position in terms of one of his crosses. That in-swinging whip. I mean, as a defender, you guys can probably talk about it better than me, but as an attacker, I want an in-swinger coming in. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
I'd hate to defend.
They were the hardest to defend, and we've seen there in the clip, Carvajal drops early, which means everyone's onside. And all of a sudden, then Militao's trying to play catch-up, and the flight of the ball is perfect, as we know with Kevin De Bruyne, and it's a great header by Akanji, great touch, and unfortunately, an own goal.
And how, unfortunately.
For Militao.
Yeah.
For Militao.
From him, yeah. Let's have a look at 4-0 then. Alvarez comes on, he gets his goal. As we say, it's another example of the strength and depth that this Manchester City team possess.
Yeah, and look at this. 3 or 4 players around the ball, light blue shirts. This is at 3-0. Still with the intensity, the desire, the application to go and finish this team off. But that ball from Phil Foden, again, 2 substitutes coming on the pitch and really being clinical, and it's fantastic to see that.
But that's the thing, Alvarez wins the ball back and he's not set with just winning the possession. He thinks, well, where can I get into a goal scoring opportunity? And we have touched on the strength and depth. Riyad Mahrez, one of the subs, into another sub, Phil Foden, then a great way to pass.
Yeah, he almost smothers his chance. He actually runs past the ball, so he can only place it in there. And normally you'd sort of take a step back and you give yourself a bit of room, because you can still whip it into that corner, or you can dink or go near post. But he's so keen. He actually comes above the ball and he smothers himself, and he can only go left. But hey, he had a tiny little area to hit, and he hit it.
Might just be Manchester City's greatest ever night. If they win the Champions League this season, it may well cap their greatest ever season, because by the time they win it, they could be going for the treble. I mean, I suppose it's a shame in some ways. There's no big night out or two for these City players. They're going to go straight home, do their rehab tomorrow, and get ready for the Premier League game at the weekend.
Jolien's already sent out 4 Texas. Where's the party at tonight?
Pep reference, they'll be with the family, so I'm sure they'll be celebrating to some extent, but not
to some
crazy.
extent. But it's a great problem to have, right? You know, in a few days' time, they can win the Premier League.
Yeah, these guys are serial winners as well. You know, when you get to this stage of the season, it's not about celebrating before it's over. It's about celebrating the outcomes, and that is reaching and winning the finals of the Champions League, and hopefully winning the league and the FA Cup as well.
Well, here he is. Jack, come on over. Don't be shy. Oh, he wants some water, and quite rightly so. Listen, you're a Champions League finalist. You can leave us waiting. It's no problem.
Well done, man. Come in,
mate.
On,
so pleased for you.
How you doing, man? How does that feel, man? Talk us through it.
Yeah, no, unbelievable. We spoke last week after the game, and I was just buzzing then, just to be involved and stuff not involved. Sounds like a youth team player, yeah. No, just just to be in this moment, man. It's so nice, and now, a week later, I'm standing here again, and it's 4-0. I don't think a lot of teams, would do that to Real Madrid, but I swear, man, when we're all together and we're just playing and stuff, especially here, just feel unstoppable, honestly. I don't know what it is.
Well done, man. Well played.
Yes, sir. Carl, congratulations as well. Well done, mate. You were just saying it just feels amazing in this team to play alongside the likes of Kyle Walker and. Yeah.
When did I say that?
Don't go shy.
No,
not him specifically.
I was just saying, when you come here, honestly. Yeah, honestly, I seen a stat the other day of our Champions League games, and I couldn't believe it. The amount we've won at home to what we've won away. I think we've drew 5, in the Champions League this year away, and then every game at home we've won. And when Kyle will tell you as well, when we play here, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the fans or just playing on our home pitch. We just feel unstoppable, and we just feel even in the league, we feel like no one can beat us. And I think. We've seen what we've done to Bayern Munich, even Leipzig, and tonight here. It's unbelievable.
Kyle, take us into that first half. What was it like to play in a first 45 minutes that, from our perspective up there in the studio, looked dominant, looked brilliant, looked incredible? How was it for you?
I'm glad it looked comfortable from up there. Listen, it's tough. It's always going to be tough. I think the emotions, sometimes it does take hold of you. I was a little bit like, how's this going to go? But listen, I thought the lads dug in well. I think we controlled the ball really well, especially in the first half. I think the second half, when we came out, was a little bit sloppy, giving the ball away in areas that wasn't really, we shouldn't have gave the ball away. But listen, we got over the line, and that's the main thing.
I was interested before the game about your matchup with Vinicius Junior, which was everyone was sitting waiting for it to happen. How do you, as a defender, approach that duel?
I think
given he's world class.
Yeah, he's
thrive at it.
Yeah, you've got to have a little bit of arrogance like the attackers do. You know, you have to. I always just say, just go toe to toe with him. I believe in my pace. I believe that I'm quicker than him, and that I can, use my physical dominance.
Speaking of that, have a look at this. Just have a look. This is what I love here. So he's obviously looking to get in behind you right now, isn't he? He wants to go in there.
Yeah.
I can see you there. You're on the front foot. Is this where you love being here? Because a lot of defenders do not want to be in this position at all. 1v1 with loads of space behind them. Are you happy here?
I'm all right. I always like to say that I'm a metre off. So I'm a metre off, so I can control that. But that step, I shouldn't really allow that step, as you can see it there. But I think as soon as, I think his first touch is a little bit little. And then if he takes a touch across me there, I'm kind of in no man's land. But he
this is the one.
Straight.
He takes another touch here and he takes it across you. I think any other player in world football, he gets across that player.
Yeah.
But with your pace, you get your left arm out across him, put him off balance a bit, and you take it off him like taking sweets off a baby.
I'm glad you say it's that easy. No, listen, he's fantastic. He's fantastic, but what you have to use your strengths, and as soon as that arm comes out and you can knock, when players are running so quickly, you get that little arm and it's a little knock. It's not a foul, it's just a little knock. All of a sudden the balance goes, and I just make it difficult as possible as I can for him, really.
Over the two legs, Carl, was it more of a defensive role for you? Were you thinking, I'm not going to really join up with the attack too much because this guy, because half the time he cheats, he just stands out there, so you've got to almost just focus on the defending?
I think so. These guys should be able to put the ball in the back of the net. They don't need me to be setting up goals and stuff. So I think in this team, what I've loved since I've come here is everyone knows the roles and responsibilities. There's no... Listen, obviously we've got Jack, we've got Kevin, we've got Erling, but there's no standout, superstar that you can say, okay, go have the ball and bam, 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 1, 2, 3, oh my gosh, it's a goal.
Your manager doesn't really want that, though, haven't
No, and I think that's what, gets us across the line more times than not, where we don't rely on just one player. Obviously Real Madrid have got fantastic players all over the pitch, but, he's been their main threat. And as soon as you nullify that main threat, all of a sudden, have they got a plan B?
I tell you what, though, this man.
How good is he been? That's what I was going to
say. This man has been a main man for you many times this season. Without embarrassing Jack, just tell us what you've made of his performances this season.
Listen, I was. He knows I'm.
Mate, he's so critical of him.
Is he? I'm
tough love, Jack. You need tough love.
Tough love.
I'm good friends with him on and off the field, but I tell him when he does well. And I tell him when he does bad, because I play against him. And I play against him directly in training. He's a nightmare. He's a nightmare to play against.
What can he do better?
Tonight, not much.
No. At this point in the season,
but it's true.
He can't really do much better because he's doing what he needs to do for the team. But I've said to him for years to come, when I first come here, Raz, he was more about the tricks and everything, and all of a sudden, goals. And I think, if he can just add that to his game where he gets a little bit of, a few more goals and chips in. I said, aim for 10 a season. 10 a season is more than enough. And then with the contribution that you do in other areas of the pitch, that sets you above the rest. And that's a
Well, how about if I tell you he now holds the record for the most chances created by any Englishman in a Champions League campaign? It's not bad, is it?
Well done, mate.
Yeah.
Well done, you got a well done. Look.
I should have had an assist tonight. I thought I lived there.
Well, I'll tell you what.
About that when I got.
Why don't you analyse Jack's performance tonight? Here's a run of analysis of Jack in action, because I think it's been difficult to criticise him this season. He has really been impressive.
He's the worst when he faces you up like that, because he's right-footed and he goes inside. The area that he leaves, or that you leave as a fullback, it's tough, but. And he buys the fouls, and he's very intelligent, he's very clever, and that's what he brings to this Manchester City team.
But it's also his stature. It's not as a case of I'll just facing someone up, but if he gets past you, it's hard to get back in, obviously because his stature over the physicality of Jack, and they recognise that late on. It's a shame for them, because three players got booked.
Now, I can still, obviously I'm playing well at the moment, I feel confident and stuff, but I still feel now I can get more goals and assists. I've always said, it's never been all about that. Because I know that I bring more, but...
Was he saying to you there?
I don't know, you know.
Little slap as well, little slap.
Oh, yeah, no.
What you got to tonight?
So just before you go, guys, I know, listen, you're going there, Inter Milan in the final. What can we expect from you guys? Same dominant performance?
Yeah, listen, every game that we play, you know, we try and dominate the ball. The manager in there is a genius. I'm sure he'll watch, you know, a lot of their games and tell us, you know, bits where we can hurt them. We know it's going to be a tough game, probably a team that will sit in and, you know, try and counter-attack. And they have, you know, a lot of experience. I watched their game last night. So, listen, you don't get to a final by... you know, well, you can get there by luck, but you've got to still be a good team, and at least they are a good team. So you've got to give them respect. But we've got a few more important games up until then, so we'll focus on them and then.
Well, listen, we wish you the very best of luck this weekend. By Monday morning, you might be waking up as the winners of the Premier League as well this season. We'll wait and see. Very best of luck in the final. We'll see you out there in Istanbul. And I was thinking, that kid at school at St Peter's all those years ago, dreaming of being a pro footballer, he now plays in the Champions League final.
Well, I got to train and play well for the next few weeks.
I think you'll be all right.
Obviously, Kyle's already done it, but for me, you know, it's a when you're young, you know, you don't even think of that because it's so far away. But when you grow up, I even says, I said it to you, and it come up on my Snapchat, like, you know, when it comes up memories, and it was like 4 years ago today, and I was just sitting at home, and it was like, I put, can't wait for this Kyle versus Neymar, going to be crazy. But you know, like now, then you're playing there, so
give me feel like dear.
All right, well, I'm sure he'll have some tips for you ahead of the final. It sounds like he's your coach.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Cheers.
Really impressive tonight. Fantastic. And actually, look.
Just drop it.
We'll take the mic. As much as we laugh and joke about, you know, things like, you know, Kyle gives me a load of criticism, I think that is a really interesting and fascinating insight into the way they work here. You know, like, the players take the responsibility at this football club, and that is a really healthy culture.
Oh, the standard that's set. I seen a clip of Rodri going at Gundogan. I don't know what was being said, but it looks like there was a high level of demand, and that's throughout this team and throughout the squad and throughout the club, and rightly so. And you don't achieve these things unless you have that, and the standards are so high and maintained. It's not just about setting standards, it's about maintaining them, and City are doing that now, and they could set a new precedent with the way they got to end this season.
Well, I thought that was fascinating, the way he described it, a year of pain, he said, didn't he? And it gives you an insight into, I guess, what drives him as much as what drives the players here. He's a guy that loves to win, and when he doesn't, it hurts, and he carries that hurt.
Yeah, and he's hit it well all year, because before the tie, it wasn't about revenge or anything like that, previous performances or results, but after, you can reference it, and when you perform like that, you can talk with so much pride about his players because they've executed the game plan to a T. You've seen it in the first half, and there was obviously frailties in the first leg, but the second leg was so dominant, and so much credit to him and the players.
Yeah, and let's get it right. I mean, what team has ever won anything without going through pain to start with? I mean, they have suffered in recent years. Obviously, they've been dominating the Premier League, but they've suffered a lot in the Champions League. And now, I said before the game, I think that all that experience, they're just about to go and do it.
And look, this is the pitch where we believe they may well lift the Premier League trophy on Sunday. He's built a few teams over the years.
Why are you touching me like that?
Nothing, I'm just making sure you're okay.
Because
we talk about the treble for Manchester City. Look, he's built some amazing teams over the years. Where does this current City team sit among the best teams that Pep has put together?
I still think they've got a way to go. They've got more trophies to win, to accumulate, to be alongside the great Barcelona team with Messi in it. I think that team, for me, is the best club side I've ever seen in my time. They destroyed us twice in finals. But this team is, we were discussing this off air before, this team is more about the team. That team, yes, you can say relied on Messi, but there were still great players in that team, but Messi was the jewel in the crown. Like the guys were saying before, Carl Walker, there isn't that one jewel in the crown that they rely upon at a given moment. That
that's
when
a
they
strength,
need to win a game,
right? Not a weakness.
That's what I'm saying. It's a strength. It's just a different way he's built this team. So, but everyone thought Haaland would be that guy. They win the most important game of the season, semi-final, second leg. He doesn't score a goal. Not that he didn't play well, but he wasn't the guy they looked to get him over the line. So that shows you the strength of the team over any individual.
You can always tell, actually, what this team's like, because, you know, we get asked often from, you know, commentary, who's the man of the match, and quite often when we're watching City, it's either like, I'm not sure who the man of the match is for City today, or it's like, well, it could be X, Y, Z, A, and 4 or 5 names.
Because even Ederson, I've seen the clips there, and I've seen Ederson made some important saves tonight at crucial moments. So I think the system overrides any individual in this team. They have outstanding players that could play for other teams, but Pep's created a system and a culture that we've seen in the past that Kevin De Bruyne has been missing through injury. The team's still gone on to dominate, and so Rodri obviously is probably the only focal point in this team that probably plays and has to play in order for it to tick well.
The system overrides any individual. That's the simple way that this team has been built, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I was just thinking when Julian was saying Ederson's some of his saves, but Courtois was one of the best players on the pitch today. He was absolutely peppered in that first half. But no, I think the man of the match award for Bernardo Silva was a fair one. I agree. I thought Rodri was unbelievable. And yes, if he got injured, you would really worry, because who else can play in that position as well as him? He's the presence of him, and never gives the ball away. I mean, but then you could go through it, couldn't you? Jack Grealish was brilliant. So many good players. I mean, they were top class all over today.
I think you talk about the importance of Rodri. I think he's been the best holding midfielder in Europe this year by quite a way. The consistency, the level that he's played at, the importance he is in this great team.
Availability.
Exactly.
Doesn't get booked, doesn't get sent off. Touchwood very rarely gets injured, so that is a key factor to that position as well.
Okay, right, time to turn our attention now to Real Madrid. Carlo Ancelotti is talking to Des Kelly. Des.
That must be very hard to take. It's been a great run in the Champions League, but that ends tonight. What can you say about the performance?
It was not a good performance, of course. Manchester City was better. They deserved to win. They played really well above all the first half, and they took advantage, and then for us it was difficult to come back in the game. We tried in the second half, but it was so difficult because their performance was really good.
They did play well, but what was missing from Real Madrid's performance?
I think we could manage better the ball. We lost a lot of ball in the first half. They did high pressure in front, and we were not able to move the ball as usual.
Did you expect that though? I would have thought they go at a high tempo.
I expected the start of the game that was really intense, but I didn't expect that we could manage well the ball. But of course, sometimes in football happens this, that you have a rival better than you, and you have to accept the result.
And what was the strength of the City side? What was causing the problems?
No, they have a lot of quality. They put a lot of pressure, and so nothing new. It's a good team.
And what now for you, and what now for Real Madrid? Is a summer of strengthening and coming back?
Well, the idea is to fight, to compete as we did this season, last season, in the Champions League and in all the competition. I think that until now we did well. We have to accept the defeat, because sometimes in sport you cannot always win. Sometimes you have to accept the defeat, and through the defeat try to be better next season.
Thank you, Carla.
Games like this, defeats like this, they take their toll. What does his future look like, do you think?
I don't know. You can never say when you're talking about Real Madrid. They've sacked managers when they've won great titles, big titles, and when they've lost, they've got rid of managers as well. But they've kept people at times where you thought, I'm not sure about that.
He's probably earned the right to just do whatever he wants to do.
Not at Real Madrid, no.
If he wants to walk away, the point is he
can, but I mean, if he wants to stay, it's not going to be, I don't think it's his say. I think it's the club will decide. But they have high expectations at that football club. So listen, Carlo Ancelotti will go down as one of the greats because of what he's done in the game, no doubt. Tonight was just a night where they were beaten by the better team.
Yeah, regardless of what happens to him at Real Madrid, his legacy will never be tarnished in the football or the Champions League.
Right, talking of legacies, let's turn our attention then to the 10th of June, live on BT Sport. Manchester City, Inter Milan, the first time they've ever met. And, as the sort of dust settles on this game, the more you just can't see anything but a Manchester City winner. I know it sounds dangerous and stupid and you shouldn't say it, but they just look so good.
Yeah, they're head and shoulders above anything in Europe at the moment. No question about that. I think probably they've been the best team in Europe for 2-3 years at least. But this is the time that they've gained all that experience, gained that know-how. And, Italian teams are always notoriously hard to play against. And in a one-off game, you can never say, it's a guarantee, especially against a top team like Inter. I don't just think they're better than everyone at the moment. I think they're miles ahead. Yeah. And And for that reason, unless something stupid, unless they get sending off early on or something strange happens, I just can't see them getting beat.
Yeah, I echo that. The way they're playing, the Arsenal, they have the variety of styles they can play in. They can play a bit more direct with Haaland now, and the reliance on Jack and Bernardo out in the wide areas. I just think they have so much strings to their bow, and the confidence and belief, even the hurt from last year and previous seasons, I think that is all added into the motivation of getting this job done.
And that FA Cup final suddenly becomes huge as well, doesn't it? Because look, it looks like a foregone conclusion, the Premier League. Who knows what's going to happen in the Champions League final? The FA Cup final is the game that may well be the day that determines whether they are treble winners or not, and only one team can stop them.
Yeah, they're Man United players. They won't need one word.
Them. It's them now. It's not
one word spoken. One word spoken to them about the importance of this game. They'll know what's needed. But listen, this is a juggernaut that's going to be difficult to stop. Whether they can be remains to be seen. But they're playing against a wily team, an experienced Inter Milan team who will have their own plans, I'm sure. But I think it's a tall order for any team to get any points off towards the end of this season now. I think they look like a team that can go unbeaten now and do the lot.